Bans on trophy imports are creeping in around the world. Is it a contagion? Is African conservation at risk from virtue signalling Western politicians? Or is it something that just a handful of governments corrupted by animal rights policies will enact and the rest will ignore? I go to the Safari Club International Convention in Nashville, Tennessee at the end of January and the beginning of February 2024.
I'm scared of this domino effect, and when we had the UK ban come out, people said, but just why are you so involved in the UK ban, even though it's minuscule, it's not 0.5% of the hunters coming to the country are from UK. It's the principle. And I think this is the thing. If one country does it, the next is going to follow, and the next is going to follow.
Eventually it might just start a movement and a trend that would be very difficult to reverse.
Dries is referring to the Westminster Parliament throwing out a trophy import ban bill in the autumn of 2023. At the same time, the Canadian government banned domestic trade in elephant ivory and rhino horn, as well as the import of hunting trophies containing these parts.
It doesn't seem to matter if the exporting country has all of the appropriate permits and the importer has all the appropriate permits. The government has made what I would call a ideological decision to just ban these items. They've claimed that they're following the leads of other countries, and ironically, in the news release that they put out, they blamed poaching as a major contributor for elephant and rhino populations decreasing, yet punished hunters instead. And we all know that populations of elephants and rhinos that are able to be hunted are sustainable populations. That's the only way this works. So unfortunately, the government of Canada is actually going to further make the problem worse by putting this ban in place and going after exactly the wrong people.
It's really ignorant, because poaching is obviously illegal. Hunting is very regulated, especially when it comes to rhino and elephant. So I can't see how that is going to have any impact on illegal rhino and elephant poaching.
Following Canada in the early part of 2024, Belgium banned the import of trophies from some cats, some bears, elephants and rhinos. The consensus at SCI Nashville was that this will have no effect, partly because no other EU country has a ban in place, as this Belgian explains.
People often have made replicas of it, and they still have their own trophies in a different kind of way at home. And I would say some are smarter than others and manage to have them anyway at home, because Europe is quite big and the rules don't apply in each country the same way.
This has been bad timing for South African outfitters, which have just come out of years of legal wrangling about the export of many trophies following a court case brought by wealthy animal rights organisation Humane Society International.
In that period, it affected us that no CITES animal could be exported, which meant that animals that had been hunted, for example, in 2015, could not be exported. We're sitting with a backlog of elephant and black rhino and all these animals, which has impacted our economy tremendously and brought a very negative perception to South Africa and hurt us. There's a lot of people that went out of business.
A South African judge dismissed that case, saying those trophies can start heading for the USA and elsewhere. Next, France debated a law that would ban hunting trophies from CITES 1, 2 and 3 listed species, plus a ban on advertising hunts for these animals in France. The debate timed out in the National Assembly.
We're seeing it all over Europe right now, with trophy bans being a hot topic in the beginning of the year, election year. People are trying to figure out votes and whatnot. So France, direct threat right there to ban everything. It sounds like as of yesterday, today's Groundhog Day, 2nd of February, we saw that the decision on the trophies has been punted possibly till 2027. So we're monitoring and seeing where it is. But it sounds like a lot of the efforts, from folks educating on what the impact would be on real people and wildlife has worked.
A lot of parliamentary are not for this law, and we did a lot of work to convince them, because some of them, they don't know what happened in Africa,
It's still a ban that threatens hunting and nature conservation around the world, and it is a punitive ban.
If France were to put in this ridiculous ban, which would go further than any other country had even proposed, not not just an import and export ban, but even a re-export and a €75,000 fine, plus 3 months in prison for even advertising one of these hunts. If they were to do this, then every other country in Europe would be at a similar risk of losing such an essential part of hunting, such an essential part of conservation and anti-poaching efforts.
People at the SCI convention in Nashville are surprised that no anti-hunting politicians have come on fact-finding missions to the show.
People from all over the world gather here is the ideal opportunity to come and ask questions, to come and engage with people, to see what is the impact on the livelihoods. And this is about what we stand for, lives and livelihoods. How can you be a politician at the end of the day and profess, I want to make a better life, and become prescriptive to my citizens to say, you are not allowed to go to that country to support them? And that's dictatorship.
A laziness trait, not really putting in the due diligence on it, not really taking an interest in it. And that puts the onus a lot of the time on us and on the management authorities to raise their awareness, make them aware of it. There's a number of times where I've seen, say, an African management authority that's gone in and met with a European politician, and by the end of the meeting, their face is as red as can be. They had no idea what I was doing, So I think it's a piece of laziness, but it's also on us to make those connections, and make sure that they are getting the facts.
British MP John Speller is not in Nashville, yet he wants to see everyone at Nashville swept away by anti-hunting laws he proposes. He's forcing a debate in Westminster in the spring of 2024 to bring back a trophy ban.
One of our biggest sources of income in rural Scotland for managing deer and offsetting the cost to anybody of managing the deer is the hunting experience, and the memento of the hunting experience is the deer antler. And if people can no longer take antlers anywhere, then it's going to cause the deer stalking sector to wither and our income stream to go down, so we'll be less able to manage deer. But about 40,000 stags are shot in Scotland, and a very large percentage of that are shot by visiting hunters who take them home. We as an operation will move around 400 heads a year out of the country, and I would say we're pretty normal.
To some, these bans are irrelevant. If a UK ban does not include Northern Ireland, which is likely, it will be unenforceable. Then there is the rise of replica trophies like this walrus. They are identical to the animal you shoot, they are a fraction of the cost of bringing a trophy back from the country where you were hunting, and they are unbannable.
So this is a 3D printed and hand painted Cape buffalo. What we did, we scanned it, captured every single detail, shrunk it down, and as I said, we printed it, painted it, looks just like the real deal, but much smaller.
But you could do that full size?
We can do it full size as well, yes.
The anti-hunting lobby has many problems to overcome. Most voters are either in favour of or don't care about trophy imports. Hunting tourism is all that's paying to keep most of the world's wildlife alive. Hunting trophies remain enduringly popular, as evidenced by the thriving market for old trophies in shops and at auction. And to ban replicas, politicians would have to ban plastic. So far, the anti-hunting lobby has overcome its problems only in Canada and Belgium.